Hello, everyone. Happy National Batman Day. I want to share my top 10 favorite Batman actors. Now, this will be including live action performances and voiceover animation performances. Starting the list at number 10 would be George Clooney. Now, George Clooney was almost not on this list. He is my least favorite Batman. But there are some redeemable qualities in Batman and Robin, one being the scene with him and Alfred talking about mortality and the quest to stop what happened to Bruce Wayne's parents from happening to anyone else. I love that scene of Bruce Wayne saying, "But I can't stop death, can I?" And Alfred's like, "None of us can." And you have that flashback of a younger Alfred comforting Bruce Wayne after the death of his parents. Such a heartfelt moment in Batman and Robin that you almost wonder, wow, that feels like it's from a totally different film. Plus, he doesn't have the burden and guilt of his parents' death weighing on him anymore. So it's a different Batman. However, it's a very one-note performance, and I don't really see a differentiation between Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's just like, hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. And yeah, besides the campiness of Batman and Robin, there's a reason why the Batman film franchise was dead for 8 years. And George Clooney are probably my least favorite. Now, you have some early movie serials, but I still think George Clooney is a bit better than some of those as far as the effects and then just Bruce Wayne, Batman. So there's some interesting things there. Above that is Will Arnett from Lego Batman. I love the voice of Lego Batman. He's like, pewter. He is great. Lego Batman is a brilliant satire on the character, and if you're a Batman fan, you're going to love Lego Batman. And in the Lego movie, he provides such a great voice and kind of resembles many different incarnations of the character while still having that Bat personality, you know? So he's definitely my favorite. I love seeing him and Michael Cera play off each other as Batman and Robin. And the stuff with Zach Galifianakis as Joker and him is just great. Which is like, I don't do relationships. I don't do ships. Just like, I hate you. It's like, I hate you more. I just love that stuff there. So yeah, for a kid's film, for a comedy satire, I really love Will Arnett as Batman. Above Will Arnett is Bruce Greenwood from Batman Under the Red Hood. Bruce Greenwood is probably my favorite voice actor outside of Kevin Conroy in the animated series. He really surprised me. You don't even imagine Captain Pike from Star Trek when you listen to him. He has that Batman voice. He's Bruce Wayne and has that deep kind of more bass tone to him as Batman. And I love his incarnation of the character, his interpretation, him playing off of John DiMaggio and Jensen Ackles in that film. He is a great Batman, and I cannot wait to see him in more stuff. I think he might have been in Batman and Gaslight. Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful voice actor. After that, at number 7 is Adam West. Adam West was the first live-action Batman that I thought actually added to the character. Sure, it was a parody satire, but he played the character straight. And he was one of the few actors to play Bruce Wayne and Batman as like two separate people. There's that wonderful episode where he's on the two phones talking to Bruce Wayne Batman with Commissioner Gordon that just showcases his range as an actor. I really love his performance as Batman. And I think he set a precedent of what was to come in live action. Because before the Adam West show in the 60s, you just had the movie serials. And despite the costumes and stuff, I really feel like you didn't have any actors that took it as seriously as Adam West. And he had a wonderful cast. You had Burt Ward as Robin, Julie Newmar, Cesar Romero's Joker, Burgess Meredith's Penguin, Frank Gorshin's Riddler. Just an array of people in the cast. And I think even though it is really campy and comedic, it's almost like Austin Powers' Batman by today's standard, I think it was very faithful to the comics at the time. Even though it took it away from the Dark Knight approach of the character, I think it was very much of its time and the Batman that was needed at that moment that helped make it evolve into the Neil Adams, Dino O'Neill Batman of the 70s to the Frank Miller Batman of the 80s, and so on and so forth. Above him at number 6 is Will Friedle from Batman Beyond. Now, I know this isn't Bruce Wayne, but Terry McGinnis as Batman, I didn't like that, at first when I was a kid. I was like, I want Bruce Wayne, but you know what? Now that I'm older, now that time has passed, Batman Beyond was a show that was very much ahead of his time, and it's growing on me. I love his portrayal of Terry McGinnis, a teenage Batman. Even though he's a completely different character, he's a street fighter and stuff. He's almost like a street punk before he's Batman, before his father is murdered, and he steals the cowl dons the Dark Knight name. He's a very different character from Bruce Wayne, but I also love him as Batman. He gets to grow as a character through the series and definitely comes into his own by the time Return of the Joker comes into play and the Justice League Unlimited epilogue, where you find out he's actually Bruce Wayne's son. I really love Will Friedel's approach to Terry McGinnis, and you know, you have Damian Wayne, you have Dick Grayson, but anybody outside of Bruce Wayne, I think Terry McGinnis would be my Batman, and he is very, very overlooked and underrated as the Dark Knight. Above that at number 5 is Val Kilmer. He's criminally underrated. He's one of the perfect incarnations of Bruce Wayne / Batman. Bob Kane at the time even thought he was the best Batman Bruce Wayne. You know, he has a dark psychological element, but also he looks like he could be Batman. He's fit enough as Bruce Wayne. He's totally that philanthropic playboy billionaire, but at the same time, he's dealing with a lot of stuff underneath the surface. He has a darker psychological element than what Keaton had in the previous 2 movies, and Batman Forever really is a tale of identity. And he's definitely one of the best portrayals of the Dark Knight I have seen on film. Above that at number 4 is Ben Affleck. In many ways, he's let the comic and animated series come to life. He's that Frank Miller Bruce Wayne Dark Knight in BVS. I cannot wait to see what happens in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I thought he was okay in the theatrical Justice League, but he was definitely more like Tony Stark. I want to see the Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight. And I really love what he did in the first film. The whole psychological element, his ideals going against Superman's ideals, and seeing a more jaded, damaged Bruce Wayne that's lost everything, that's really wondering, why am I in this fight anymore? And then basically having his faith regained after fighting Superman, after meeting him. He's finally the Dark Knight that he once was. And I love that. I love his portrayals in Suicide Squad and BVS. And I think he gets some much undeserved hate for the character. A lot of people don't like him because he was after Bell, he was darker, but he's totally the Frank Miller's Batman, and I have to tell you this, he is probably one of the best incarnations of the character, and he does not deserve the hate he has. No way. After that at number 3 is Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was the Batman I grew up with, and yeah, at first you're like, Mr. Mom is Batman, but then you see the film, and you're like, no, there's something going underneath this guy's mind. You see his eyes. There's something driving him. And he definitely has the physique where he does need to dress as a bat to intimidate people. And that's one thing I did like. You know, you always want to fit Batman like Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, or Val Kilmer. But you look at Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton physically looks like he needs the bat suit to intimidate criminals. And I love that. You know, even though Jack Nicholson kind of stole the show in the first one, I really think Michael Keaton goes for the screen time he does have, and Batman Returns deeper into the role, and he solidifies his place in the Batman mythos and legacy in those 2 films. I cannot wait to see him come back in the new Flash film that's coming out pretty soon in the next couple of years, but Michael Keaton definitely is the actor that propelled the character forward, brought us the Dark Knight on film, and helped the character evolve and influence future generations, you know, just down to like, I'm Batman. You know, that simple moment there influenced different performances to come in the future. And I also love that he doesn't have any like big one-liners and stuff. Like, he's just silent. He just is. He's a Dark Knight. He's sure of himself, you know? And that's something with the kind of Mysterioso genre that he brought to the character that definitely Bell, Kilmer, and others were influenced by. After that, at number 2 for me, my favorite live-action Batman is Christian Bale. Christian Bale was in the Batmans that finally got it right, but like Val Kilmer, he was fit, but he also was believable as 2 different people, you know. He's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's the mask. Batman is who he is. You know, it's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me, you know. That is his character. And we get to see him in a great journey with Batman Begins, using his fear as intimidation, trying to fight crime, trying to be a symbol of hope. You see the escalation and anarchy to that order in The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises a fallout and kind of redemption of his character of Bruce Wayne. And such a great trilogy and performance in all 3 of those films. Like, he is the best live-action Batman in my opinion. He gets a lot of hate now, but like, he is that character. And I believed he was Bruce Wayne / Batman. You know, he's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, and the Dark Knight. After that, at number 1 for my favorite Batman actor is Kevin Conroy in the animated series and Arkham video games. Yes, I'm including both live action and voice acting, and did you think that I was going to have anybody other than Kevin Conroy on this list? You're kidding me. Kevin Conroy is vengeance. He is the Knight. He is Batman. And every time I read a comic, I think of Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill's voice as Batman Joker. He is Batman. He is the voice of the Dark Knight. And he has the most credits voice-wise of playing the character in several video games, TV shows, animated films, even down to the Crisis on Infinite Earths as Bruce Wayne, a darker Bruce Wayne, but I love his character, and I cannot imagine anyone else as Batman. Like, that is Batman, and he will always be Batman. Anyway, that does it for my favorite Batman actors on this top 10 list. An honorable mention that I forgot to mention is Troy Baker from the Telltale series. I think he does a great job. Anyway, are there any other voice actors or live action actors that I did not mention? Feel free to share your top 10 favorite Batman actors down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe for more videos, and you can check out these other Batman related videos for more content. Stay safe and healthy out there, and remember, not all heroes wear capes. Some wear masks. I hope everyone has a great Batman day today.